There's so much going on right now. It's like literally after I finish recording a video, I have to record another one. I'm going live in like an hour on my. By the way, if you want to watch my live stream, you YouTube only viewer, please go subscribe to Quartering Live. I'm live every day with Hannah Claire, Luke Radowski, Melanie Mack, and guests. If you're a YouTube only viewer, please go subscribe to Quartering Live. But we absolutely have to get into this. I'm trying to not do the whole the walls are closing in thing because I know, people are tired of that. But this is pretty interesting. Donald Trump has now declared publicly in front of the press that Barack Obama is guilty of treason. And this is, some may say, hey, this is a distraction from the files. But then again, Trump just put the files back in the news too by ordering Pam Bondi or having Pam Bondi meet with Ghislaine Maxwell. Do I think anything's going to come out of that? No. That's why you're not going to see a video from me that says, the walls are closing in, Pam Bondi's going to meet with Ghislaine. I just don't see anything coming from that. I don't see any evidence coming from that. I don't see any value in hyping up my viewers. But there is an interview right here, about 2 minutes long, where President Trump instructs the DOJ to go directly after Obama. This is pretty interesting. I mean, Pam Bondi has a chance to, totally redeem herself, by the way. Listen to this.
Tulsi Gabbard has submitted a criminal referral to the Department of Justice. From your perspective, who should the DOJ target as part of their investigation? What specific figures in the Obama?
We're going to talk about what she put out in a second, but I think many of you have probably heard of it. But listen to this.
Well, based on what I read, and I read pretty much what you read, it would be President Obama. He started it. And Biden was there with him, and Comey was there, and Clapper. The whole group was there. Brennan, they were all there in a room. Right here, this was the room. This is much more beautiful than it was then, but that's okay. I have nice pictures up. They came out of the vaults.
Trump.
They were in there for 100 years. This is much more beautiful. We have the Declaration of Independence now in the room, which wasn't here. I guess people didn't feel too good about putting it here, but I do.
This is what I love about Trump. He's levying the most serious charges imaginable against the president. And he's like, yo, but check out this room. It's pretty dope, right? Like Obama and Biden, this room wasn't looking as dope as it is now.
But you know what? If you look at those papers, they have them stone cold, and it was President Obama. It wasn't lots of people all over the place. It was them too. But the leader of the gang was President Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And except for the fact that he gets shielded by the press for his entire life, that's the one look, he's guilty. It's not a question. I like to say, let's give it time. It's there. He's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election. They tried to obfuscate the election. They did things that nobody's ever even imagined, even in other countries. You've seen some pretty rough countries. This man has seen some pretty rough countries, but you've never seen anything like it.
I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but this is nuts. He goes, this is treason. It was every word that you could think of. Here is Tulsi Gabbard details bombshell claims of the Obama-era cabal's treasonous conspiracy against Trump. Former Obama officials accused of manufacturing Russian collusion narrative to undermine Trump presidency.
And we begin this Sunday morning with the biggest political scandal of all.
By President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office, after President Trump had already gotten elected. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American because it has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. What we saw occur here, as the documents we released detailed, was that we had a sitting president of the United States and his cabinet and leadership team quite frankly, who were not happy with the fact that President Trump had won the election, that the American people had chosen Donald J. Trump to be the next president, commander-in-chief of the United States. And so they decided that they would do everything possible to try to undermine his ability to do what voters tasked President Trump to do. So creating this piece of manufactured intelligence that claims that Russia had helped Donald Trump get elected contradicted every other assessment that had been made previously in the months leading up to the election that said exactly the opposite, that Russia had neither the intent nor the capability to try to, quote unquote, hack the United States election for the presidency of the United States. So the effect of what President Obama and his senior national security team did was subvert the will of the American people, undermining our democratic republic, and enacting what would be essentially a years-long coup against President Trump, who was duly elected by the American people.
Yeah. Now, I want to go back to something Devin Nunes.
Now, the interesting thing here is the implications of this are frankly nothing short of historic. Gabbard said on this week's Sunday morning, that was 2 days ago, over 100 documents that were released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office after President Trump had already gotten elected. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. It's an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American because it has nothing to do with the integrity. It has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic, she continued. Documents shared by Gabbard's office claim that before the 2016 election, there was no evidence showing that Russia had tried to directly alter vote counts. However, members of the intelligence community later suggested that Vladimir Putin wanted to help Trump win. Gabbard argues that the narrative shift was politically motivated rather than based on new findings, creating this piece of manufactured intelligence that claims that Russia had helped Donald Trump get elected, contradicted every other assessment that had been made previously in the months leading up to this. So the effect of what President Obama and his senior national security team did was subvert the will of the American people, undermining our democratic republic, and enacting what would essentially be a years-long coup against President Trump, who was duly elected by the American people. We have whistleblowers actually coming forward now after we release these documents because there were people who were around, who were working within the intelligence community at the time that were so disgusted about what happened. I mean, Pam Bondi could literally redeem herself. Do not, please redeem it. I mean, if she ends up getting, exposing and getting any charges to stick on this, it's wild. Now, again, people might say, oh, well, Trump's just doing this, to get people to stop talking about Jeffrey. I don't know. I mean, he's just gone completely, I think he's just gone completely, like no F's given mode. He's now saying, look, I don't care. Here's a video from Laura Loomer. Navy whistleblower Tom Schiller says it wasn't some mid-level bureaucrat who approved giving foreign Chinese national access to U.S. government cyber systems. I mean, it was Barack Obama himself. Listen to this.
Didn't somebody during the Obama administration have to sign off on allowing for foreign nationals to be involved in this database? Because surely there was some type of disclosure with Microsoft when they, signed this contract with our federal government that the tech support was going to be carried out by foreign nationals. So who within our government granted authorization to allow for foreign nationals to participate? I mean, this is something that would have required, I imagine, right, authorization at the highest levels of the United States government.
Yeah. So in that interview in 2016, I asked that same exact question, like who the approval authority for this was. I was very curious. And I raised all the red flags that I, have been raising here. I raised with Insight Global as well. Told them all about what this was and red flags I discovered, etc. And I also asked them, do you know who the approval authority for this is? Do you have the documentation and paperwork? And they were like, oh, we don't have this yet. But they kept assuring me they would let me know, and they didn't, up until I came back in 2020.
This is breaking right now, actually. President Trump says, after what they did to me, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. They should be very severe consequences. Listen to this.
Very smart. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much. It's sort of a witch hunt, just a continuation of the witch hunt. The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely cold, Tulsi Gabbard. What they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up all the way going up to 2020 in the election. They tried to rig the election, and they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that. You know, when we caught Hillary Clinton, I said, you know what? Let's not go too far here. It's the ex-wife of a president, and I thought it was sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I
Ex-wife. I mean, I
did. But it's time to start after what they did to me, and whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, oh, you know, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level.
Now, it remains to be seen what Pam Bondi and the DOJ does, but I would argue that they are definitely interested in doing a little bit of reputation management after how they handled Jeffrey stuff. So, I mean, fool me once, shame on me, I guess, or shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But Trump seems to have a very, very different tone here. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.